All right, let's move to another story where the political crisis in Rivers State has continued to create an unhealthy political atmosphere in the South state as the gladiators are not ready to back down. In a recent interview, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Nyesom Wike, has vowed never to support Governor Siminalayi Fubara again in his political life, insisting that it is not about him, but about the people that labored to put up a structure for his emergence. Wike, who defended working for President Bola Tinubu, said his successor is ungrateful for his support and that of others who worked for him to become the governor by destroying the political structure that brought him to power. Okay. Minister Nyesom Wike is saying that it is no secret that he worked for President Bola Tinubu in the 2023 elections, even though he's a strong member of the PDP. Now, let me ask you, is this not anti-party, or he has a right to support whoever he wants to support?
No, so that is working for, he's talking about working for,
okay,
for the party. I mean, working for the president. On the matter of working for the president, his argument had always been that before agreeing to serve, to work in the cabinet of the president and by extension serving his country, he sought permission from the leadership of his party. So, and the leadership of his party
gave him the go-ahead.
It is the norm in countries like America, for example. Some solid people, the Democrats may be in power, but they will sometimes go and headhunt solid people in the opposition, which is the Republican Party. I've seen that happen. I think there was even Secretary of Commerce that actually came from the opposition. So they see it over there as serving their nation. So even if you do not belong to the ruling party, the ruling party has just taken office, has just taken power, they would need the support of everyone to succeed. When it comes to such matters, they are really bipartisan. And wherever, the administration will be dominated, the government will be dominated by people from the ruling party. But in some situations, the president, an American president, will feel that, oh, there is this bright guy in the Republican Party. I need to headhunt him to come and serve in my government. At that point, the person will not, he will be thinking bipartisan, and he will just feel, well, it's my country that we are talking about now. This does not mean that I've jumped ship or that I've become a Democrat. It's just to serve my government. I mean, serve my country.
No.
So Wike is saying that there's nothing wrong in serving his nation, especially after he sought permission from his party and that permission was not rejected. So if Damagum and others in the National Working Committee of the PDP had said, no, you cannot go, and he decided to go, then you can say it's anti-party activity. But they gave him, according to him, they gave him the go-ahead, and none of them, this is not the first time he's saying it, and none of them has come out to say, no, you lied. We never gave you permission to go and work for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And even in Nigeria, it's not the first time. It's not the first time. Obasanjo brought in elements from the Alliance for Democracy. He worked in his administration. Not one, not even two persons. Bola Ige, who was his power minister.
Okay, power minister.
Yes,
okay.
Was a very strong person in the Alliance for Democracy. And he was his minister. In fact, a former chairman of an opposition party was brought into his administration as a special advisor. Two former chairmen of opposition party were brought into his administration, in his cabinet, to serve as special advisors. So Obasanjo used such people. He used such people, and I don't think if we want our democracy and politics to get better, we should not kick against people serving their government, serving their country.
No matter the party.
Yes, they should be bipartisan on this kind of matter. We should not allow emotions to dictate what we do.
All right. The minister saying that he will not, he was emphatic, that he will not support the River State governor. Now, what is the impact of this on the political dynamics, in River State?
First of all, just like Babajide has said, it's not the first time you get people from, even Chief Cornelius Adebayo, also served with President Obasanjo, even though he came from the Nadeco AD group, So I think that from what I'm seeing, the PDP has found it very difficult to resolve its internal contradictions. And either you like it or not, Wike is one of the most formidable individuals, in that party. And I have visited Abuja in recent times, this past 1 year. I think he also remains an asset to the current government. Yes. I spoke with Tazis that took me from one point to the other. People are talking about new roads. People are talking about street lights in Abuja, that even before everywhere was dark. Yes. They don't even want to talk about the increase in fire. Taxi drivers say, no, Wike is performing. Go to Abuja and later ask people. He has been able to distinguish himself. And I think as a country, we need such people, irrespective of his party affiliation. And I think if you look at Wike's political career, look at even during the primaries of PDP, look at the narrow margin between him and Atiku. Yes. It was his first time such a thing was happening. Somebody from Niger Delta.
Tambua donated his
votes. If not because Tambua donated it. Look at the third person that came third, Saraki, 70 votes. Compared with Wike that got 237. And Atiku, 371. Just distance of 134. So he nearly won that presidential election. That will tell you the level of his network in the country, just beyond, River State. So I think such a person who is an asset, you need to manage him. It's like performing operation on a very, very delicate, surgical operation on a delicate organ. If you are not careful, you want to just remove the organ, the patient will die. So if the PDP really wants to play mature politics of principle, they need to show some respect for Wike. If not, I think the party has a lot to lose as the presidential election approaches. Because he's a formidable figure. And it's not only him. It's also central to the 5 PDP governors that did not support Atiku in the last election. Okay. So I think...
and nobody funded the party more than him.
Yeah, more than him. So when you have such a person, you can't have is Atiku perfect? None of them is perfect. So you must know how to manage a figure like this. But I think increasingly it's being pushed to the wall. And I think there's going to be counter,
looking at the situation in Rivers State, the rift between the minister and the governor. In your opinion, how do you think that rift can be resolved? Although he said that it's not going to, but how do you think it's going to be? Do you see someone leaving a party for another, in your opinion? Or do you see it not being resolved at all?
I think if the two gladiators have the interest of the people at heart, there should be at least a lowest common factor that will bring them together. But it appears both parties, taking extreme positions. So it's going to be very difficult. It's only an act of God that will be able to resolve this problem. But I think the current governor of Fubara has more to lose. He's the one that is desperately looking for a second term. Wike is not contesting for a second term. He's guaranteed, even if you want to be a minister in the next administration, if APC wins the presidential election. So I think if you know that you are negotiating from a position of weakness, that's the governor. Forget about the fact that you have, paraphernalia of office and all that. As we speak, you are the one that wants second, and you want some level of stability for your first term. So I think he must be able to walk the rope, with a lot of diligence. For me, if I were him, I would not even allow this crisis to come up my first time. I would have managed it. But it started happening the first week. And if it's not helpful for the first term, first 4 years, it's going to be, riding in turbulence. And if you ride in turbulence for your first term, how are you sure that you are going to have a second term? Considering even the vote that comes from, Wike's ethnic group and also his own local government. Sure. It's formidable. So I think, we have different forces that are pushing both sides, and they just think, but when they get to that field, when the election comes, I think the stronger person will know that, the people will know who is stronger than the other.
BKO,
yes.
This issue, the rift, do you see it being resolved? Or do you see, because there's been rumors that the governor might leave for a particular part, there's been rumors, but it's not been confirmed yet. But what are you seeing?
Increasingly, it's looking like Governor Fubara will eventually have to leave the PDP. Because what happened last week, I think on Thursday, when the National Working Committee of the party decided to approve the Congress held some weeks back, it was a clear sign that the leadership of the party was not prepared to side with the governor against Nyesom Wike. And the way it is now, the structures of the party in the state, that's the PDP, are firmly in the hands of Wike. Because the congresses were from ward to local government and to the state. Fubara's supporters did not buy form. And the stipulation is that only those who bought forms can contest in the congresses. The congresses eventually produced Aaron Chukwemeka from the Wike faction as the chairman of the party in the state. Yes, there was a court that ordered them not to proceed with the Congress.
Okay.
But an earlier court had ruled that's the Federal High Court, had ruled that nothing must tamper with, that nobody should tamper with the Congress of the party. And when you have two courts of concurrent jurisdiction giving conflicting orders, the tradition is usually to obey the first court, the first entity. I thought that the governor's people will have found a superior court to set aside that earlier
judgment.
Yes, because by giving by a court of concurrent jurisdiction, that's the state high court, giving a different order, that means that first order had not been set aside.
And until when it's set aside,
you have to set it aside. We talk about these things. Sometimes you wonder who advises them. Because you're supposed to be advised by a lawyer who knows what the law says. Because that order had not been set aside. So, and they went ahead, they held their Congress. The governor didn't show up. His supporters also didn't show up. So, on that score, they lost out completely. The governors gave an order that the leadership of the party should hand over the structures of the party to the governor, who is the leader of the party. By tradition, a sitting governor is the leader of the party. It's like that too in the APC. But In this case, Wike is the proper politician amongst them. But Fubara is not really a politician. He's been a technocrat. All his working career has been a technocrat. So some of these issues may not be clear to him. But they should have found a way to set aside that order so that that Congress will not hold. But now we've had that Congress and he is now firmly in charge. We are hearing rumors that the governor's people are buying forms to go and contest the local government election on the platform of APP. That was the party that had this secretariat bombed the other day. You must have felt that, okay, they went to attack the place knowing that the governor intends to use that platform. So if you lost out in terms of the structures of how do you install yourself?
Exactly.
How do you, that means you can't be candidate of the party because the structures that will produce you have been completely annexed by an individual.
Sure.
So how do you come out? All elections at that level, all primaries will be based on the congresses. So if you do not have a footing there, how do you get your own candidates to pass through that structure and become candidates? How do you get your supporters to pass through?
Okay. All right, Vike, we have a caller, Benga from Abuja. Benga, welcome to the program.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
My name is Benga from Abuja. Good afternoon to Kolade Otitoju there and your guest there. BKO, I've been your follower and I enjoy your analysis, but today I will disagree with you.
Yes.
I watched your program on the line that I could not miss you. That is a program with you usually have online. You claim that by default, the governor is the political leader of the state. I disagree with you because after our president, Bola Tinubu, left being a governor in 2007, all the governors that took over were not the political leader of Lagos State. As well, you remain the political leader of Lagos State until he now became a president.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Benga. Because of our time, thank you very much. BK, you want to quickly react to that?
You see, I'm talking about what the party, their constitution says. What Asiwaju has done in Lagos, not many people can replicate it. And where people have tried, look at what is happening in Benue, for example. Normally, the Secretary of Government of the Federation should be the leader of the party. But what these governors always say is that the law says that the sitting governor, where you do not have a sitting governor, then the former governor, the immediate past governor, shall be the leader. And we are seeing it in places where APC or PDP are not in control. The leader is usually the former in Ekiti. We had Adebayo. You know, seen as the leader of the APC there when before Fayemi became governor. So look at Kano. That was the source of the quarrel between Shekarau and Ganduje. Because the party eventually sided with Ganduje against Shekarau that, yes, you are a former governor, but the sitting governor, our rule says the sitting governor shall be the leader of the party. Go and work with him. Shekarau did not like that because Shekarau had a court order that gave him the structures of the party. But the party sided with Ganduje against Shekarau, and he ended up leaving the party and went to the PDP. You understand? We've seen that there are many examples. The fact that Asiwaju was called national leader of the APC. The fact that this has happened with Asiwaju does not mean that both in the PDP and APC, it is there in their rule that the sitting governor, in a local government, the highest ranked political office holder, maybe a senator or House of Assembly member or House of Reps member, shall be the leader of the party in the state. This is what is happening. It's not the fact that we have a departure with Asiwaju does not mean that is not what the law says. In the two parties, because clearly APC borrows some ideas from PDP, and they are running with some of those ideas. So, but Lagos is a different.
It's a different. All right.
And a lot of the people who have been governors in Lagos were not die-in-the-wool politicians.
Technocrats.
You are technocrats. Ambode, technocrat. Fashola was not even a politician. Many of the politicians didn't like him. You know, the fact he was always blocking the access to Asiwaju when he was chief of staff. So, and then this last person too, not a core politician in this sense. So, they are not the sort of people who now go gongu to fight the Capone. You say,
I should be the leader.
They are not going to do that.
All right, thank you so much, BK. Thank you so much, the veteran. Thank you so much for having this conversation. Adewale Ade, thank you so much for coming to the studio to have this conversation. And that's it. That's all on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Join us tomorrow for the regular episode of the program at 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11:30. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun.